Hi, I'm Sabina Fu. Today on Ghosts of Mississauga, our friends at Heritage Mississauga invite us back to their place. Welcome to the Grange.
Sam as an entity is a name that was essentially passed down to us. Clairvoyants have documented an individual here supposedly trying to hide something.
A psychic at the Haunted Mississauga launch of the book that Terry Boyle was doing, and he told us about two of them. And possibly, is there something that they're trying to say? Is there something that they're trying to tell me that, you know, something's not quite right?
The Heritage Resource Center at the Grange is the hub of history in Mississauga. The Resource Center is a public office that provides research assistance and heritage information. The Heritage Mississauga team plays an enormous role in preserving our city's history.
So as Heritage Mississauga works to keep history alive in our city, they may be getting a helping hand from spirits that reportedly live in the Grange. So Matthew, we've been to a few haunted buildings, and now we're back in your home territory.
Yes.
So tell us about the Grange.
Well, the Grange is absolutely one of Mississauga's historic gems, not only from the heritage that it exudes to the city surrounding it, but as a place to work. It is just an incredible office. We used to be in little cubicles in City Hall, so there's no comparison. The building was built circa 1828 by Sir John Beverley Robinson. We say circa because there is no known date of construction for the building. It's a guesstimate at best. Sir John was actually a trustee of the surrounding property, including this land, beginning in 1821. But in 1832 he sold the property, and presumably after building this house, and it passed through a succession of owners, some of whom were very significant people. Colonel William Thompson, who was a veteran of 1812, and Dr. Beaumont Wilson Bowen Dixie, after whom Dixie Road is named.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. He lived here for a very short period of time, from 1843 to about 1850. Sadly, he had children that passed away in this house, and by the turn of the century it passed into the Adamson family, and for the last 60 years of its life as a private home it was in the Adamson family. And so we know the house is either the Grange, which is a name given to property owned by the Robinson family. There are actually several Granges associated with the Robinson family that still stand in North America.
There's one in Toronto.
There's one in Toronto. It was built by Sir John Beverley's brother-in-law, who married his eldest sister, and Sir John Beverley Robinson's father, Christopher Robinson, built a house in Virginia that's also known as the Grange.
Wow.
And there's one in England as well. So it's a name associated with the Robinson family. But the Adamsons, who lived here for the longest tenure time, were farmers, and this house simply served as a farmhouse for surrounding farm property. And in 1973, it was acquired by developers. It's somewhat happenstance that this house survived, but it was eventually donated to the city of Mississauga. And then the two tenants that have been in here since the city purchased the property have been the Boy Scouts of Canada, and then ourselves. We moved in 2004.
Let's go back to Dr. Dixie there. You said he had a few children that passed in this house?
4 children that passed away in this house. It's actually quite a sad story. If you go to St. Peter's Anglican Church Cemetery, which is on the hill behind us at Dundas Street and Mississauga Road, you'll find a very large tombstone to Dr. Dixie and 4 small crosses. And the crosses are that. And the local story is Dr. Dixie was a beloved local doctor, a very early saddlebag doctor, a pioneer doctor, one of the last pre-Confederation doctors to practice before his death. And the story is that he brought an illness home to his children. There have been many people who said to experience something, to see something, even dating back to prior to our location here. We had stories that came from the Adamson family of saying that something was here, they thought.
Really? It predates that far?
It predates that far. So this is a generation that would have lived here in the late 1960s, early 1970s. for our story, or at least our knowledge of something here, was when we actually were beginning to move into the building, when the Boy Scouts who were vacating the premises told us to take care of Sam, which is always an interesting thing to be told when you're moving into a building. And of course wondering who Sam was, and clairvoyants have documented an individual here supposedly trying to hide something. As part of the story goes, he gets upset when we move furniture around. We've had an individual who has a difficult time entering into our exhibit room, which is supposedly one of the spaces where Sam is said to be in the corner. We've had somebody who conducted a course here that said that they felt something in that room, and I've had a student who worked for me who's quoted in our Haunted Mississauga book that felt someone looking over her shoulder and felt a definite shove coming downstairs one time.
I hate when they start touching. I don't like ghosts who touch.
We've had again another student who refused to go upstairs. Was afraid that something was there, but certainly we've had people who resolutely believe that this place has something to it.
Coming up on Ghosts of Mississauga, we tour the historic Robinson-Adamson house where Heritage Mississauga, and possibly a ghost or two, are keeping Mississauga's past alive.
It sounded like a man's heavy footfalls. I thought, oh, there's someone up here. So I came up and there was no one here.
And could the paranormal phenomena at the Grange be related to Matthew's personal connection to the building?
You'll have to believe me when I entered this field, and I never imagined I would come work in a family house.